Well, this one is pretty dang terrifying. Gotta be honest with you. The outgoing chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, is warning of the devastating threat that's posed by a second Trump term, and specifically to the rule of law. And Milley believes, this lifelong military leader, that Trump will start locking up, no joke, his perceived political enemies. And we've talked about this, and we'll talk more about it as we get closer to this historic and unprecedented and very terrifying election. But General Mark Milley is also talking about it here from Media. Outgoing chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, has warned that should former President Donald Trump return to the White House, he will lack the guardrails that restrain his worst impulses during his first term and will start throwing people in jail as he sees fit. Milley added that he would be top of the list of critics Trump would use the power of government to imprison. And this comes from a Jeffrey Goldberg in-depth profile called The Patriot being released in The Atlantic. If Trump is re-elected president, there will be no Espers or Milleys in his administration, nor will there be any officials of the stature and independence of John Kelly, H.R. McMaster, or James Mattis, listing some of Trump's former Pentagon leaders and key White House officials. Trump and his allies have already threatened officials they see as disloyal with imprisonment. And there's little reason to imagine that he would not attempt to carry out his threats, Goldberg continued, adding, Milley has told friends that he expects that if Trump returns to the White House, the newly elected president will come after him. He'll start throwing people in jail, and I'd be on the top of the list, he has said. But he's also told friends that he does not believe the country will re-elect Trump. And it goes on to talk about how he is optimistic and believes in the American people and doesn't think Trump will once again get into a position of authority. Now, there's one other part I want to discuss about this Atlantic in-depth analysis or a profile of Mark Milley. But first, on that horrifying lifelong military leader saying he's going to go full fascistic, authoritarian type actions if he becomes president again. Not someone who's your crazy lib saying that. Lifelong military leader, a general, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And that's surprising in that it's so devastating. It's not surprising in that Trump has been advertising this.
It's a Democrat charging his opponent. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That means that if I win and somebody wants to run against me, I call my attorney general. I say, listen, indict him. Well, he hasn't done anything wrong that we know of. I don't know. Indict him on income tax evasion. You'll figure it out.
So Nancy Mace's response was, well, I can't tell when Trump's joking or being serious. Yes, because that's the thing you want to joke about, locking up your political opponents for no reason. Now, of course, the justification, is the fabrication of that happening right now to Trump. They say that's happening right now to Trump when it's not, based on the evidence. He's just being held accountable for his potential violations of the law. But it'll be justified in the minds of his followers because they try to do that to Trump, when of course that's not the reality. Another part of this that's pretty horrifying for what it means about Trump's character. Goldberg's piece also reported that Trump did not want to be seen at events with severely wounded American soldiers, recalling previous reporting from Goldberg that Trump, while president, disparaged soldiers who were killed in action, and that's where those losers and suckers quotes came from. And so, and then people support that. The pro-military party supports Donald Trump. It makes absolutely no sense. And how long did Republicans posture as really caring about the views and the analysis of renowned, well-respected military leaders? And now, boom, Mark Milley's a rhino. He's a liberal. General Mark Milley, lifelong career military member, the lib. And they ignore the fact that he's saying, guys, I worked with this guy. I saw what he would ask us about. And I saw his ideology. And this is devastating. Now, he doesn't think Trump will win, but that's playing with fire. And still people will wave that away. We don't care. The pro-military party doesn't care about this massively respected, lifelong military leader and his view on Trump. That is just yet another example of the way that these principles aren't actual principles. They're just things that are said for a political advantage, and can be contradicted very quickly. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show and get a bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.